Success in high ticket sales is a mental game. Success in entrepreneurship is a mental game. Success in life is a mental game. And a lot of people think that's woo-woo or, like fantasy land type living. But if you think about it, we are in space on a rock, floating at a perfect distance around the sun, and our most prized resource, water, falls from the sky. If you really think about it and you zoom out, we are living in a fantasy land. I heard a quote one time that said, there's a better chance that a tornado plows through a junkyard and assembles a 747 jet than us actually being alive. And when I heard that, it blew me away. And whether that's a true statement or not, it puts in perspective how crazy it is that we're actually alive right now in our life. In this video, I want to talk about your mindset and why it's the key ingredient that's going to get you to success or lead you to failure and quitting and giving up. So let's hop in. I remember I was just finished with making a huge investment, an investment that I didn't have into a mentor. And I met with him a few times. And after one meeting, I got in there and I was telling him about my situation. And he said, there's nothing outside of you that's going to fix what's going on here. The only thing that's going to fix what's going on is you and the way you operate. And I had been doing personal development at this time. I've been putting serious work in, and I was a little bit like offended by the comment. I was like, what are you talking about, man? You don't know what I'm doing. Like, my mindset's on point. But he noticed something in me that I didn't see. And this is one of the most powerful and liberating things you can do. So I got off the call and I'm a little bit upset, but I start to dive into like what he meant. And I start to think about and process all of these ways of thinking that I had been, operating on. I've been thinking like, hey, like if I don't like make this company successful, I'm a failure. And I'm not good at reading. So like I can't like get all the information that I need to do. There's all these like limiting beliefs that I had coming up. And then I realized that that's not really who I am. It's just it's like a way I've been operating. It's this script I've been running in my head. And it's been keeping me from getting to the next level. And that's what a limiting belief is. It's a belief that you have that's limiting you to actually get the result that you want. And so I was having all these limiting beliefs. And so I went through and I did this huge sweep of an audit of myself. Well, how am I acting? Who am I being? And I started to replace these old ways of thinking with new thoughts. A belief is truly a thought that you think over and over. And so I realized that if I could change the way I think, I could change my beliefs. If I can change my beliefs, I can change my outcomes. And so I started to put in this practice, and I started to use my headphones, my car, like it was a university. I started putting new information in, and I started getting new results out. Because when you have these beliefs, when you have this way of thinking that is limiting you, it really makes it hard for you to be successful, okay? Because you come up against these obstacles, and you're looking at it, and you're blaming everything else. You're blaming it on everybody else and not yourself. You're not taking your own accountability. You're like, it doesn't work. And then you give it up and you never make it. You never go out there and attempt to make it work. And so that brings me to my next point, where we're going to talk about complete accountability. I want to talk about paradigms, okay? There's a famous quote. I'm not sure who really originated it. I've heard Tony Robbins say it a lot, but whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. And that goes to show that you are the creator of your reality. And when I want to talk about paradigms here, there's two paradigms that I really focus on. Paradigm A, which is the paradigm that 99% of this world lives in, that life is happening to me. There's no control. You can't create the life you want. You're just living in it, and it may be subtle, and you may not be walking around like, hey, I can't create the life I want, but you're probably like, blaming your feelings on people around you, or like, I'm not happy because I'm in this circumstance, or I'm a victim to all the things that have happened to me, my past, the people that aren't treating me well. And you're blaming everything, your results, on things around you. That's paradigm A. Paradigm B is a land that is like a fantasy land that a lot of these successful people operate on. Okay? They operate in this paradigm. And the paradigm is complete accountability, complete ownership, that you are responsible for the results that you want to get. You are responsible. And then when you do that, what happens is it's liberating. It's like, I get to be in charge of the results I get, and I can do, be, or have anything I want. And there's that famous saying, do, be, and have. Again, you do, you be, and you have. Okay? You don't have, be, do. You don't have to have it first and then become it. You have to actually be that person that you want to be, and then you get to have it. Become the person that you want to be. And this starts by moving into paradigm B. Okay? How do you do that? You go back to the first point I was talking about. You start to raise your awareness. You do the inner work. You put in the personal development hours. Then you start to see this new way of living, this new way of life, this complete accountability, this complete ownership for the results you get. And slowly, it doesn't happen overnight, but there's this power that comes to you. This power that you can create the life you want. There's hope. There's a lot more motivation. There's a lot more opportunity. Instead of seeing the hurdles, what you do is you stop looking at the problems and you start looking at the solutions. How do we solve this problem? How do we get to the next level? New doors open, new communication, new ways of acting, new partnerships, new network, new net worth, new opportunity. And if you're not doing this work, if you're not working on the mental game, what happens? You come up against this challenge, this obstacle. Deep down, you know you want this target, you want this goal, you want this outcome. And you start on your journey and you come up against it, and guess what? You go right back to where you started. I bet you can think of a time, we all can think of a time in our lives that we wanted to get something out of our life. We wanted a new way, a new job, a new opportunity. And we started, and a week later we had already quit. Maybe health. Maybe a lot of us do that in the gym. And a week later we're already back to what we used to do. There's a reason. You didn't continue to work on the mental game. Let's use the gym analogy. You go to the gym, it gets hard. You actually see some progress. You start to get some momentum. You take like 2 days off and you don't feel like it. And so you haven't been working on discipline. You haven't been working on your mindset. And so you decide not to go to the gym for 3 days, 4 days. And then a week later, you're not at the gym at all. And you're completely off the train. You're back out of shape in 2 weeks. So this is why it's important. And when you realize that a lot of the things that you think you need, these new things, these new software, new cars, new houses, all these things, like none of that's going to make you happy. The only reason you want it is because you think you're going to feel better in having it. That's the only reason we want anything. If you go down to the bottom level, is you think you're going to feel better if you have it. And my challenge to you, and why I'm making this video, is if you can feel better now, you can feel amazing now, you don't need anything else. And when you see something that comes up, like today, I just saw, hey, we got a bad review on our business. It was, a former customer that we had that wasn't really happy, even though it was agreed upon terms, blah, blah, blah. You get it, right? And I looked at it, and it was like a little challenge. I wanted to, like, oh my God, I started to get upset. Like, man, this guy, like, why is he doing this? And then I had to have that mental mindset to move on and just be like, hey, you know what? We're going to go solve this, make it right. And not only that, but let's just move on. Like, I don't need to feel bad about it. My mental game, I don't need to take it on in my body and feel bad the rest of the day. And so it's just raising this awareness. And I know this is kind of a rambling video, y'all, but I'm so passionate about it. It's something that I'm constantly working on every single day. Raising my awareness, seeing what I believe. What beliefs do I have? What beliefs are holding me back? What ways am I feeling that is keeping me from being inspired, keeping me from taking inspired action? Do this in your life. Start to audit yourself. Start to put new information in. Start to move into the paradigm of accountability, where you're responsible for the results you get, and you can do, be, or have anything that you want. When you do that, you're going to be better. Your life's going to be better. And as I always say, the world is better when you're better.